Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about an important and particular topic of Chapter 8. In the brand new Garten of Banban 8, someone might not make it out alive. That's right, in the upcoming chapter, some characters might lose their lives or disappear forever. And in this video, we're going to figure out who the possible victims might be, who's in danger, and what clues the euphoric brothers are leaving us. The new game is getting closer and closer, and even though the official release date hasn't been announced yet, we know it's just around the corner. We might see the release date very soon, so stay with me because today we'll analyze theories, hidden details in the trailers, connections to previous chapters, and new observations that could change everything. We'll also explore shocking theories. What if one of the characters dies? In Banban 7, we already saw a darker and creepier tone, and everything suggests that the 8th chapter will be even more intense and dramatic. And before we dive into the actual theories, I want to tell you something super important. If you're a fan of the Garten of Banban series and don't want to miss any upcoming videos with news, theories, hidden secrets and updates about the game, then subscribe to the channel right now and smash that like button. It's free, but it means so much to me, and this way you'll stay updated on every new detail. Get ready because today we're diving deep into this new mystery. Who will survive? Who will say goodbye forever? And most of all, who is really behind all this? Let's jump right into the first theory. Let's start right away with the first character who might lose their life in Garten of Banban 8. We already talked about this in an earlier video, but since this video is dedicated to all the characters who might die, I absolutely have to mention him. The character in question is none other than Siron. But why could Siron meet his end? Well, the reason is very simple but also quite chilling. In Chapter 7, Siron seemed to be on our side, almost friendly as far as a creature like that can be, but now things have changed. In Chapter 8, Siron will be the main antagonist. It's been confirmed that he'll be enemy number 1 in this new section of the story. And that makes us think of one thing right away. Sooner or later we'll have to face him. It could turn into a full-on monster fight like the ones we've already seen in previous chapters. Well, Siron could be the final boss of Chapter 8. And so he might even lose his life during the battle, maybe in a dramatic, high-stakes encounter. Maybe it'll be a multi-phase mission, where we first have to run from him, then solve puzzles, and finally face him one-on-one. And if he dies, what happens next? Who takes his place? Or is it all a trick? What if his death is just a fake out? These are all questions we're asking ourselves, but one thing is for sure. Siron is in danger, and in the next chapter, his fate might mark one of the most epic and dramatic moments in the entire saga. And now let's move on to the second character who might meet a tragic end. But first, let me know in the comments. Do you think Siron will survive or be defeated? Now let's move on to the second character who might lose their life in Garten of Banban 8, and this time suspicion falls on a very important and mysterious name, Sir Daadu. But why him? Well, let's start by saying that Sir Daadu is one of the most enigmatic characters in the entire saga, a powerful, strange figure who literally represents chaos. And yet, in the trailer for Chapter 8, we see him again, and what's curious is that he looks completely fine. Yes, because technically he should have been defeated by Jumbo Josh in the showdown seen at the end of the previous chapter. Everyone thought that was the end of Sir Daadu, but no, there he is, alive, standing tall, and even in great shape. But watch out, because the trailer also gives us another crucial moment. A short phrase but full of meaning. Justice will be served. Who says this line? Sheriff Toadster. And here's where the alarm bells go off, because anyone who knows the saga well knows that Sheriff Toadster and Sir Daadu are sworn enemies. Sheriff Toadster represents law, justice and order, while Sir Daadu embodies anarchy, disorder and chaos. They are like day and night, two opposing forces destined to clash. So the question becomes unavoidable. If Sheriff Toadster says justice will be served, could he be referring to the final defeat of Sir Daadu? It might mean that the great final battle between justice and chaos is about to happen, and in that moment, one of the two must fall, and if justice wins, chaos disappears. And so, goodbye Sir Daadu. We could be witnessing one of the most epic scenes in the entire saga, with Sheriff Toadster confronting his greatest enemy in a final battle. And then the final blow. A phrase, a moment of silence, and the end of Sir Daadu. And if that's the case, Garten of Banban 8 could give us one of the most dramatic and symbolic moments ever. The victory of justice over chaos, and the end of one of the most feared and fascinating characters in the whole series. Now let's talk about another character who might be seriously at risk of dying in Garten of Banban 8. A new, creepy and still very mysterious character, but one who has already captured the attention of all the fans. We're talking about the lobster-like creature we saw in the trailer, and who is most likely named Clarenzo. We've already talked in previous videos about how this new character probably has a name linked to his claws and his animal nature, and Clarenzo really seems like the perfect name. A mix between Claw and a proper name Renzo. And yet some fans think otherwise. Some believe that Clarenzo is actually the character with the reptile hand, while the lobster's name would be Varza. But this theory makes no logical sense. Think about it. Claws are a clear and defining feature of lobsters, while Varza is a name that clearly comes from Varanus, the scientific name for monitor lizards, which are reptiles. Why would they call Clarenzo a character who doesn't even have claws as a main feature? And why would they give a lobster creature a name based on a reptile? Everything points to one logical conclusion. Clarenzo is the lobster, and Varza is the reptile with the monstrous hand. But let's get back to the main point. In the Garten of Banban 8 trailer, we clearly see that Clarenzo will be one of the antagonists of the game. Everything suggests that he'll be one of the creatures we'll have to escape from or fight against. Clarenzo might then be one of the bosses of Chapter 8. Maybe he'll appear in the Syringan's clinic. Maybe we'll have to hide to avoid his claws or solve puzzles while he chases us. And then in the end there could be a decisive showdown, an intense boss fight, and finally his fall. Clarenzo's death could also serve to push the story forward. So yes, even Clarenzo the lobster is highly at risk in this new chapter. A new character, sure, but as we've seen before, no one is too new or too important to be spared. And what do you think about this? And now we come to the last character who might lose their life in Garten of Banban 8. We've already talked about her in our previous videos, but it's essential to include her in this list because she could really be one of the big absences in the next chapter. I'm talking about Nabalina. Nabalina is a character who has generated a lot of buzz. She is the female variant of Nab, but over time she gained her own identity. In recent months, the Euphoric brothers have officially abandoned the trademark for Nabalina, a move that did not go unnoticed and sparked 1,000 questions among fans. Why erase a character who still seemed to have so much to say? Why remove her trademark right now as we approach the 8th chapter? The most logical answer is that Nabalina might be leaving the scene for good, and not only that, she could die, disappear without explanation, or simply never appear in the series again. A silent ending, but one that would still deliver a blow to the hearts of many fans. It's possible that the creators decided to cut her character for narrative reasons and therefore want to close her story arc in chapter 8. There might be a brief scene showing her fate, or more likely, Nabalina will vanish without a trace, and all that will remain is the mystery of her absence. A disappearance like this has already happened with other characters in the saga, and unfortunately, it's an element that fits the unpredictable and dark tone of Garten of Banban. And with this, we've completed our list of characters who might lose their lives in Garten of Banban 8. Siron, Sir Daadu, Clarenzo, and Nabalina. 4 key figures, each with an uncertain fate and a role that could end dramatically. But now, as always, I want to hear your opinion. Who do you think will survive, and who is destined to fall? Write it in the comments and let me know if you've noticed other hidden clues in the trailers. Thanks for watching the video. Bye bye.